As men, we've been trained, been conditioned our entire lives to believe that we are inherently guilty, bad, wrong, that everything is our fault, and we just need to stay reliant, compliant, submissive, mediocre. If we are to pursue greatness, if we're to be competitive, if we're to be aggressive, if we're to do manly, masculine things, then we are the problem. We are wrong. We are inherently bad. We were born that way, especially as straight men. And I got love for everybody, so I'm not bringing down anyone, but this is something that I've only recently come to understand how deeply ingrained this is into us, into our society, how we've been conditioned. And for me, that was a big part of my escape with alcohol. I used alcohol to escape this life that I did not fit within, this identity that I did not fit within. And I know that so many of us straight men are feeling that same way. We've had to find some form of escape from this life that has been forced on us, this box that we've been forced into that we don't fit into, that is not correct. We have this biological instinct to build, to defend, to conquer, to create, to do all these things that don't fit within the paradigm of following directions, being quiet, staying mediocre. We have so much to offer and so much to give. We're told to just throw out all of our creativity, all of our skills, all of our capabilities, and use just a little bit so that we can maybe get enough of a livable wage to get by. So throw out everything that we can really do, all of the real value that we can offer ourselves, our world, our employer, whatever it may be, and just fit into this box and stay mediocre, while everyone else around us is being celebrated and told to go be a boss, to take charge, to rise up. But as straight men, we're told to just sit down, shut up, be quiet, accept that we're bad, we're wrong, and everybody has to escape from this ridiculousness somehow. You know, like I said, for me, it was alcohol. That was my number one escape. And this was a big part of why I was drinking. Not the only part, but it was definitely a big contributing factor. But it doesn't have to be alcohol. Any vice, any different form of escape can be largely as a response to this thing that feels so unnaturally wrong, because you have this deep feeling within yourself. You know that you can contribute so much more to yourself, to your community, to the world, to your family. You have so much more to give, so much more to build. And when we are so heavily programmed to not even understand what we're truly capable of, our conscience is just screaming at us. We're absolutely miserable, and we have to escape that feeling somehow. And again, I want to see everyone rise up. I do not believe that one person, one group, one type has to come down for another to come up. I believe that we can all rise up and help each other and contribute to one another and celebrate one another, regardless of what circumstance we fit into, whether it be man, woman, gay, straight, religious, non-religious, whatever religion. It doesn't matter. I believe that we can all love each other, contribute together, rise together, and benefit from one another succeeding and growing. And that is the exact opposite of what the opposition, what the man tells us. I don't even know if it's the man. One of my favorite influencers, Bedros Keuilian, he really helps me put a lot of these things I've known, I've understood, I've thought, helps me quantify them, helps me put them together to where I can actually understand what's going on. And he refers to the source of this message as the opposition. Because us as men are the biggest threat to whatever nefarious outcomes, whatever power source, struggle, money that goes into the hands of others, manipulation. We are the biggest threat. We are the builders. We are the ones who, if we don't follow directions, we can create different solutions. We can communicate to one another and be independent of the thought processes that are being forced upon us. So it's vitally important for the opposition to reduce and diminish the biggest threat as much as possible, which means to persuade, to convince men that they are wrong, that they need to be quiet, that they need to be submissive, that they shouldn't be solving problems, that they shouldn't be building, that they shouldn't be aggressive and competitive and strong and capable. They don't want us to be that way. And once we are raised with a broken mindset from the beginning, and our conscience is screaming at us, and we eventually seek an escape, we just become a bunch of powerless, fat, drunk, lazy losers. How do I know? I was the definition of that. I was exactly there because I know I've got something so much greater to contribute to this world and to myself. So when your mind breaks free, it's really an amazing thing. You start to see a completely different level of possibilities. You start to see what people can do now in 2025 with nothing but a phone, nothing but an internet connection. They can make millions upon millions. They can have true influence. They can get ideas out. They can make a difference in a way we've never been able to before. It is a very scary moment for those who are trapped in this reliant, compliant belief system that the opposition has trained us into. But when you start to actually see what is really possible out there, this is an extremely exciting moment too. And for me, I believe for everybody, the foundation behind this, you can't just say, oh look, the world is full of abundance, I'm gonna go get some abundance. You have to start with creating the subconscious, training yourself subconsciously to understand how truly capable you are. And how have I found to do that? Almost 4 months. It was 4 years, not 4 months, since I stepped into the gym as a pear-shaped, floppy, just defeated, divorced, worthless dude with all of the potential in the world, all this amazing experience, all these failures and lessons learned, but nothing great to show on the other side of any of it. So stepping into the gym, committing to that consistency, going in no matter what, no matter how uncomfortable, no matter how little time you might have, no matter how much you don't feel like going, you go anyways. That starts to show yourself that you're going to keep your promises to yourself. For me, the progression was get into the gym, learn to follow habits, learn real discipline. That was what gave me the foundation to quit drinking, which was a huge, I was straight up alcoholic, addicted, over a liter of vodka a day, bad news, drinking at work, drinking wake up. It was bad. But the gym gave me the foundation to quit drinking. As I quit drinking, it allowed me to take my nutrition to the next level. It allowed me to start pushing into other levels of discomfort that I previously would have strayed away from. Continually keeping promises to myself, not drinking, always going to the gym, always eating right. Now I'm doing these walks just because I found that I burn more calories, I enjoy myself, and I get to talk to you versus spending a bunch of gas money and more time to drive to the gym, to get on the elliptical. I've got a chronic ankle injury. I can't run even if I want to. I could, but I wouldn't be able to consistently. So I just come out and I walk, and this is 7 days a week. I do not miss this at the beginning of my day. Today is a weekend, and so I tend to push the walks a little later if it's a little chilly in the morning. But we're talking, the lighting's better. It's straight in my eyes, so you don't get to see my eyes today. But over time, these things compound. Step 1, gym. Step 2, get sober. Step 3, step it up. Step 4, start to really take challenges on and be excited by them. And if you've watched my other videos, the hardest one I've done yet, the most uncomfortable, I've had a lot of discomfort. I can't wait to show you guys. I spent an entire year living out of an SUV on a beach in a mountaintop in California while starting a successful marketing company. I have complete control over how my life looks now, but my desire is not to sell my services or time to anyone else. It's to create for myself, to produce my own products, not services, my own products, whether it be in-person gatherings, whether it be branded apparel and supplements, and endorsements, sponsorships that I truly believe in that will help my friends, my followers, things that I would endorse, that I do endorse. I wouldn't have been able to do all this if I didn't start creating self-belief through taking on challenging discomfort situations, seeing them through, never backing down, staying consistent, and keeping those promises to myself. And that real challenging situation I was talking about was a 97-day diet. It was too hardcore. I killed my white blood cell count. I forget the name of the condition. I was way under the healthy level. I went catabolic. I was getting these burning pains all over my body. My body was actually eating the muscle. But what I did was, I trained my brain, my subconscious, my resilience, because I didn't deviate. I did what I said I was going to do all the way through 97 days. And can you imagine just being in a constant state of starvation for 97 days, living off of boiled chicken and yogurt, doing 16 to 20 hour fasts every day? Physically, it was unhealthy. I do not recommend it. I'm not the person to listen to. Don't take any advice from me about this. Talk to your doctor if you take something like this on, understand what you're getting into and do it better than I did. But at the end of this thing, because I saw it through, I had the results in the mirror, and moreover, I saw that I did something really hard that I didn't have to do, and I didn't let off the gas. I didn't take it easy. I did it the way I planned. And I did have, it progressed into a day of maintenance with, the fruits, avocados, things I liked, and a cheat day, which was, just ended up being more protein bars and fruits and avocados. It was still healthy stuff, but I went over my maintenance, and I learned a lot. But after that, it's just like, okay, well, what's the next big challenge? What is the next thing? I'm in the middle of building multiple drop shipping businesses. We've got almost 500,000 different parts that's going to go through one of these. I don't know any of this stuff. I don't understand it. So I spend a lot of time messing things up, failing, coming to dead ends, figuring things out. And that's what the system doesn't want us to do. That's what the opposition doesn't want us to do. They don't want us to go out and start really figuring things out and understanding that we can overcome things. We can solve problems. We can create solutions that will create amazing outcomes and results. They do not want us to do that, to know that. Because then you have this self-belief. You have the ability to go against the grain. You're able to look at everything and say, hey, the way this works is wrong. I don't agree with it, and I'm not going to play by these rules anymore. And that goes against the desired outcomes of the opposition, to keep us as men reliant, compliant, submissive, limited. When we recognize that school prepares us, education prepares us, vocational training prepares us to follow directions and do a very small part of the big puzzle, while somebody else is figuring out the marketing, the profit and loss, the business model, the accounting, everything else. And we just sit there, we're just filling out the same TPS report, putting the same rivet in the same hole. We're just a little cog, and we get compensated as such. Our value is only so much. We can be replaced. The only like mainstream type of jobs I would consider at this point, I wouldn't consider them. I don't fit into this, but if I were to start over and I still hadn't freed my mind of thinking I need to rely on someone else, let's see, we're going to go with good lighting. We'll walk over there. Once the cars come by, hang on, I'll be right back. So if I were to do this all over and I hadn't yet broken my mind free to realize I belong as an independent creator who has my own, who's completely self-reliant, then I would be in sales and finance, understanding the way everything actually truly works, the mechanics behind money and sales, where if you have the right product or service, your income is not capped. You have super, substantial potential. But I know I have even more potential on my own than working for anyone else, even in a highly commissioned sales position. The only place that you could possibly see just the absolutely most massive monetary returns is getting in depth into finance, really understanding the science behind money. But that also, there's so much more to this than just money. I am creative. I am a storyteller. I love editing and producing videos. I can't wait for you guys to see all these cool adventure videos that I have on the hard drive that are getting taken down off the old channel, re-edited with purpose, with a real mission and a real message, and to bring you along from the beginning of this journey when I was out of shape, completely defeated, and addicted to alcohol, so you can come along and see what long-term consistent habits and actions can produce. Because my purpose, I have found through overcoming my challenges, is to help others learn the same thing, to help other men see that they can create true self-belief. They can do this by going head-on into uncomfortable things, by creating unbreakable habits and not backstepping. My desire for myself is true freedom. And why do I want that true freedom? So I can dedicate my time, my energy, my creativity to creating, to communicating with you, to editing videos, to telling my stories, to traveling, to having adventures. So even though my marketing company is amazing, I get to travel around and ride expensive custom motorcycles. I do off-road motorsports. We manufacture things that go bang that I try not to say the words related on YouTube because I don't know how this stuff works yet. We do aircraft parts, custom painting, Cerakoting. And I'm around a really cool group of guys. I have autonomy, I have freedom, I have the ability to look, analyze, and say, out of everything I have here, what can I do that has the most impact? What problems can I solve? What money can I make? And what do I need to learn? And then I get to develop those skills like the drop shipping business. This mindset is so far from my college degree, from spending 5 years to get a 4-year degree in a field that I should have gone to technical school for, that I ended up, was 5 years in school, 2 years pursuing the career, and I got it. I was flying on Learjets, I was producing fancy videos, and I hated it. And that was 2 years of that. So that was 9 years of investment just to learn that the thing I had to figure out that I was going to do and thought I wanted to do was not what I wanted to do. And if I just had been away from this mentality of my place in the world is to follow directions and have somebody else limit what income I can produce, what outcomes I can create, and just stay mediocre. If I would imagine that 9 years towards pursuing this mission that I'm now fully dedicated to, how much farther along I would be. So, the best time to plant a tree is a long time ago, and the second best time is today. And I've been working on this for 3 years now. I just came to the point where I decided my 8,000 person channel it's going to take me less time to have more impact by starting a new one. So now I got 41 followers. I just got a new one the other day. Every single one's exciting to me. Somebody somewhere is getting this message. And I want this all, I'm sharing my journey as I'm progressing and producing better and better results. There are some that are really easy and obvious. Every once in a while you see a flashback picture of me when I first started. I didn't look like this. Like I said, I'm real close to 2 years without alcohol. I've committed to never drinking again in my life, and that's an easy, done deal. One day before my 2-year anniversary of no alcohol will be 1 year without cannabis, and that one I have not committed to keeping out of my life forever. I chose to do something hard and uncomfortable, so I'm not smoking for a year. So I took it off, and that's allowing me the time to assess and analyze, does it have a place in my life? Because I do see some benefits to it. And with everything else I do, getting up early, 7 days a week, working out, 4 days a week now. It was 7 and then 6, and now it's 4 because I've been getting tendonitis. I'm more focused on getting lean right now. We can focus on bulking again when I'm really to that unnatural level of leanness, because it's a hard, challenging, long-term goal, and I'm making progress every day. But it is slow and steady. It is definitely tortoise wins the race. When I did that diet, I learned it doesn't matter how hard you go. There's certain elements of biology that are just, they're setting the time frame, and this thing takes time to really get to an abnormally amazing physique. My thesis is that I need to burn off every pinch of fat, every single little bit, everywhere I want, before I focus on bulking, so that when I soften up a little bit, I won't get, let's see, right down here. This is the last thing I'm trying to get rid of, right there. Just a little bit, right? Not much. But I don't want that to balloon up and turn me back into a pear shape when I start bulking up and I put on muscle and I have these big fat pockets hanging off my back. I want to get rid of all that. And then the softness should spread out evenly. That's the way I think I understand it. But I'm learning along the way. I've learned and progressed a lot with fitness, and that's, whether it be fitness, finance, content creation, whatever pursuit you're on, if it's a worthy pursuit, it's going to take time. It's going to take iteration. It's going to take lessons learned. It's going to take having some failures, figuring things out. But failure is the most valuable learning experience that we can have. And that's something I did not understand with my business. I spent during that first 9 years in my post-college career, I spent 3-4 years building the first rendition of my business. Then phase 2 of that was another 3 years. So I spent 7 years to lose 6 figures, learn some lessons, and then just walk away from it. Recognize this is not right for me. This is not the right circumstance. My finances were gone. My credit was ruined. So I moved off to a ski town for 7 years to bounce back, and I just lived a snowboard bum life. And there were some really excellent and really crappy parts about that. But the lesson I had not yet learned was that failure isn't failing unless I actually stop moving forward, unless I actually give up. And then I came to a point in life where it's like, okay, well, I don't fit into this world being able to trade my hours for dollars anyways. I'm not an employee, and those jobs are going away, and the ones that are out there, less and less will actually give you a really good, equitable future. So, I have no choice but to take all of this valuable experience that I've already got. I've got 20 years of video production, and at one hand, I've had to pretty much throw all that out of the window, but I still have great instincts. But I've got all my fancy camera equipment. The DSLR never comes out right now. I'm getting good at talking with you on my $200 vlogging cam. So even that skill set, it's modifying. But the fact is, my experience that I had with business, with brand building, with all these things that I'm doing with my client, these things are all so valuable. And every time there's a failure, every time something doesn't work out, learn, iterate, course correct. That's what I didn't understand yet. That's what the opposition doesn't want us to know. They just want us to rely on somebody else to tell us what to do, to keep us limited in our beliefs and our capabilities, our freedom. If we just spend all of our time trading hours for dollars, trading dollars for junk, escaping through vices, through eating unhealthy food, through instant gratification, through alcohol, through whatever that vice may be, you're not a threat. We're not a threat. My goal is not even to be a threat to anyone, but to recognize that this paradigm, the way that I've been told I'm supposed to live, is just meant to hold me back and make it so I am never a threat. So even though all I want to do is go out, build my off-grid land, create a space for men to come out, to learn these valuable lessons I've learned, to start their momentum in the right direction, and just to be left alone when I don't have men coming out that we're working out together, that we're eating right, that we're staying sober, that we're really helping the collective consciousness of the world, and helping men who just are lost, that just need a little bit of direction. I just want to go off, be self-reliant, have my well, have my garden, be able to hunt and feed myself and be self-reliant, and then to create my income through content and everything related to it, and just go do me. That's what I dream of. And it, it's crazy. It took a couple years just to figure out what I can put into a couple sentences. And I hope that you're seeking both of these. What do you truly want? What do you want your life to look like? And what is your purpose? How are you contributing to the world, to society, to your family, to yourself? So I guess, what do you want for yourself inwardly, and what do you desire to produce outwardly? And for me, it was simple. I desire freedom and sovereignty for myself. What do I want to do with that freedom and sovereignty? I want to inspire men to create self-belief, to get sober, to get fit. And I want to do that through content creation, through having adventures, and leading by example, by doing things that inspire other people to do the same. Just a few sentences, pretty simple. Well illustrated by the phrase, the meme, money isn't the goal, money is a tool, freedom is the goal. And the more that we get ourselves tied up into owning stuff, into wasting money on Amazon, and getting into debt so that we're living above our means instead of beneath our means, the more of our freedom we give up, the more compliant we are, the less of a threat we become, the less we have to actually achieve our true purpose and have a true impact. Guys, seek out your purpose. It took me 3 years to figure out, first, what do I want my life to look like, and then what is my purpose? It took me 3 years. That pursuit is not easy. But then you start living those habits, things start coming into place more and more. And because you've stayed true to yourself and you haven't deviated from the habits that you've created, you develop true self-belief that you've earned through results that you've produced, through habits you've stayed consistent to. You develop confidence. This stuff doesn't happen without actually taking the actions, staying consistent, and producing the results. But when it does, it's amazing. The momentum starts. And right now, man, I've got a lot of success. I've made a lot of progress. I'm making it. I'm winning, but I have not won. I'm still a long way to go. But I know that I'm just going to keep following the 4 things that are my outline for life. Never drink. Always eat right. Always work out. Always keep creating. Whether it takes me 10 months or 10 years, it's all going to pay off if I just stick with those 4 simple things. So, seek out your purpose. Seek out your mission. What do you want for yourself in your own life first? And then how are you going to contribute to the world or your community or whatever your contribution is? Create consistent habits. Physical fitness and sobriety are the foundation to everything. Get yourself fit, get yourself sober, self-belief will come. Keep compounding, keep stacking better and better habits. Little by little, small, insignificant changes over time add up. At first it was going and doing this elliptical with that diet for 30 to 40 minutes a day. I was doing that 5 to 6 days a week. And now I'm 7 days a week burning more calories on these walks while creating content, while building my purpose, my influence on the world. And I mean, I don't miss days. If the weather's terrible, if it's lightning and such, I might go to the gym. But otherwise, I'm just going to be out walking. I'm going to talk to you guys most days. Some days I need a little bit of a break just to get my mind clear and just appreciate being alive, appreciate the ability to walk. I couldn't walk for nearly 6 months. I told you about that ankle injury. I wake up, I get to actually stand when I get out of bed. I had a graduation gift of LASIK surgery. This would have been over 20 years ago. I wake up and I can see. I lived out of my vehicle for a year. over, I think, 17 or 18 months combined between a couple trips while building and doing different interesting creative things. Extremely uncomfortable, but beautiful, living in national forests, living on the beach in the most beautiful, awesome part of California, a place that is amazing to visit when you have an off-road camper. Not a place I would want to own property or a business, but definitely, one of the most beautiful, awesome spots in America for going off-road, camping outdoors, and enjoying the national forests. But I also didn't have running water. I also had nights that were just freezing ass cold. I also had nights where I had to get up and go to the bathroom getting rained on. I had very limited power. I had a solar panel and a power box, which could die, and then I would be without a lot of stuff I needed. So, it's all trade-offs. And I decided to write a story with my life. I decided to turn my life into a movie to share with you and continue to move in a direction where I can lead from the front. Hope others find the same place. So, well, I've just been rambling a little too long. Take care. I love you. Thank you so much for following my mission, and I hope that I continue to have an impact on yours. I'll catch you soon.